Of course, you are with an institution that is all about, holding disinformation to account in many ways, and anti-hate organization is the key focus of your work. How are you seeing this particular moment different from what we've seen in prior episodes of conflict?
Sure. So, as you just pointed out, at ADL, we have been tracking this kind of work, both anti-Semitic incidents in the real world, as well as how hate and disinformation proliferates online for decades. And what we are seeing right now, Aisha just brought up some of the issues going on, particularly on X. But part of the problem is X used to be the place, when it was Twitter, that people went to in times of a real-time crisis. Let's be clear, it was never perfect before. But it was at least a place where people knew who were journalists, people knew who were verified accounts. They had some sort of way of figuring out who to follow and what information may be more credible than others. And all the things we've been highlighting as really concerning changes at the company over the last year are now really showing why it matters. We are seeing not just disinformation and misinformation proliferate on the platform, but if I can just give you a few examples.
Yeah.
So just yesterday, my team saw a video from an account. Aisha had brought up the verification blue check process. From a blue check bot, as in an automated account who pays $8 a month, you get that blue check, which means he's prioritized in our news feeds with a fake video saying it was Hamas executing hostages. Now, what's interesting is not only is that video still up as of last I checked about an hour ago and been viewed hundreds of thousands of times, there is no way for a user to flag it as mis or disinformation. If you look at the drop-down menu of how to flag content, there is no option for disinformation.
But they would say there's community notes. How has that been helping, hindering from your perspective?
They would say that. And while community notes in and of itself might be a really interesting experiment to think about for the future, it is not the way to moderate content during a real crisis. And to be clear, it's not just about what's happening on the ground right now, but we at ADL are also concerned about the potential to proliferate anti-Semitism here at home. We have extremists and anti-Semites who were re-platformed over the past year on X, reveling in some of this violence and actually saying some of the most horrendous anti-Semitic things online. And I really, really am happy to see X's statement that they are proactively going to monitor for this, but I just have to be frank, right now I'm not seeing that yet.
Yael, thank you for joining us on the show. While we've been on air, X have sent us some data saying that Community Notes has generated close to 30 million impressions and that 500 unique notes on the X platform directly relate to the attacks. That's based on 3 days of activity. What I really want to ask you about is the positive story with social media. A lot of the engagement that we've had on the program, and indeed some of the guests that have joined, were through social media channels. There are people trying on various platforms to identify those that are missing. Have you any evidence, or have you seen any positive use cases of social media in the Israel-Hamas conflict over the last 3 days?
So to your point, I'll start with community notes. Again, yes, I think it's actually a really great way for people to be able to crowdsource information, to fact check in real time. The problem is it's putting the responsibility on the user for doing that as opposed to the platform itself. So while community notes is definitely an interesting positive potential step, it cannot be the only thing for curbing this kind of disinformation. And, this might not fit the word positive, but it is really actually important to see just how horrific the crimes are right now that are happening on the ground in Israel. And that does happen on social media. And we can debate whether terrible images online is useful, but to be able to see some of the very on-the-ground reporting, to know that a grandmother was murdered in her own home while they filmed it on her own phone and uploaded it to her own Facebook feed, that's the type of thing we can only see if we have people really being able to report in real time. So that is a positive use. You can get so many voices that are not normally the voices that might surface. The challenge, though, is how to differentiate that from the noise, from the blue checks, from the people who are purposely glorifying violence or seeding anti-Semitic conspiracy theories to change the narrative here.